viewers through Noursat TV and Telemir Television, and we begin our bulletin with the following headlines. Pope Leon, there is no future built on violence, forced displacement, and revenge. His Majesty the King at the United Nations, we face a clear choice, either war or peace. Cardinal Pizzabella, I sense a feeling of frustration regarding the current situation in Gaza and the Holy Land. The Minister of Youth congratulates the Farhis women's team for winning the Arab Club's basketball championship. From the headlines to the details. During his greeting to representatives of Catholic associations in solidarity with the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, and after the recitation of the Angelus Prayer, His Holiness Pope Leo XIV reiterated that there can be no future built on violence, forced displacement, and revenge. Referring to the suffering of the people of Gaza in the face of the war that has raged in the land for 2 years, the Holy Father told the representatives of the association that the entire Church expresses solidarity with the brothers and sisters who are suffering in this tormented land, and with the pastors of the Church steadfast in Gaza and the Holy Land. He stressed that people are in need of peace and that whoever truly loves them must work for peace. His Majesty King Abdullah II, in his address to the United Nations, affirmed that a just and lasting peace in the Middle East will only be achieved through the two-state solution, and that the world faces a clear choice, either to continue in the cycle of war or to walk the path of peace. His Majesty warned that what Gaza has witnessed for nearly 2 years of bloodshed and unprecedented destruction constitutes a blatant violation of international law and human values. He stressed that the war in Gaza must end immediately and that humanitarian aid must flow without obstacles. He also called for an end to all unilateral and illegal measures in the West Bank, including settler violence. His Majesty concluded his speech by affirming that ending the war is not enough, but is essential as a step towards a peace that guarantees the legitimate rights of all peoples.
Your Excellencies, my friends, I thank France and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for convening this meeting. We meet here at the UN, where every country, every people are promised a voice. We meet to raise our voices for peace and for justice, for the only path to ensuring security for the Middle East and beyond the two-state solution. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. Almost every year since, our countries have met within these halls to decry the injustice and violence of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and seek solutions. And now, for nearly 2 years, we have been witnesses to a horrific level of bloodshed and destruction in Gaza. It stands in flagrant violations of international laws and the values of our shared humanity, and it threatens the foundations of future peace. The war in Gaza must end. Humanitarian aid must flow unhindered, and all illegal and unilateral measures in the West Bank and settler violence must also end. A clear choice stands before us. On one side, to continue down the dark and bloody path of war and conflict, or to take the path of peace through the two-state solution. And today the world is taking a significant step on the path to achieving just and lasting peace. This global rally behind the two-state solution sends a clear message. The conflict must end. The two-state solution is the only path to the just and lasting peace that fulfills the rights of all our peoples. We thank all countries that have recognized the state of Palestine, and now we must work to stop all measures that undermine the two-state solution. We must make sure that today is a step in a continued effort to realize it. As we work on ending the war in Gaza, we must also do all we can to restore hope. The commitment so many countries are making to a future of peace today begins that long, difficult, but essential process. Thank you.
His Beatitude Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzabella, Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, said he senses a feeling of frustration and resignation regarding the current situation in Gaza and the West Bank, expressing his sorrow at the immense amount of hatred generated by the present circumstances, which drives us further and further away from the possibility of healing wounds and resolving the conflict. In an interview with an Italian newspaper, His Beatitude pointed to the disproportion between what happened on October 7, 2023 and the Israeli response to those attacks. When asked whether the two-state solution is still possible, Cardinal Pizzabella said this proposal may turn into a mere slogan, yet it remains the most suitable and ideal solution. Regarding recognition of the State of Palestine, His Beatitude said the Catholic Church has done so long, and that this is an important initiative because the Palestinians need humanitarian support and recognition of their dignity as a people. They're demanding to be recognized as a state, even though no one can know when this will actually be achieved. In the same context, more than 20 humanitarian organizations active in Gaza issued an appeal to state leaders gathered at the United Nations General Assembly in New York, urging them to intervene urgently to stop the violence in the Gaza Strip. In a joint statement, they said that what we are witnessing today is not only a humanitarian catastrophe, but also acts of genocide being committed. They stressed that all parties involved in the conflict must abandon violence and strive for peace, and affirmed that the states gathered are called to use all available political, economic, and legal tools to stop the war in Gaza. During the meeting that brought together His Holiness Pope Leo XIV with bishops who had recently received episcopal ordination, including Bishop Iyad Atwal, Patriarchal Vicar for the Latins in Jordan, His Excellency shared his experience saying, "I did not expect to live over 10 days, the greatness of the Catholic Church in this way, for it is the living body of Christ extended through the ages." He added, "The greatness of the Church lies in her universal unity, which embraces different peoples and cultures under one banner, and her spiritual richness manifested in the holy sacraments, sound teaching, and the service of charity. She's a mother and a teacher who enlightens minds with truth, sanctifies souls with grace, and leads humanity towards hope and salvation." At the end of the meeting, Bishop Twal met with Pope Leo in a friendly and fraternal encounter, informing His Holiness about the situation in Jordan and the Middle East. His Beatitude Patriarch Theophilus III, Patriarch of Jerusalem and all Jordan and Palestine, took part in the 8th World Congress of Leaders of Religion held in Kazakhstan, where he delivered an address on the sacred mission of interfaith dialogue and the grace of cooperation in the service of God. He pointed out that all human beings are children of one Heavenly Father, and explained that genuine dialogue does not seek to erase differences but to discover within them the seed of reconciliation and the common values that reflect the eternal world. Patriarch Theophilus also referred to the horrific suffering in Gaza, describing it as a tragic testimony to the absence of dialogue and calling for a renewed commitment to peace and reconciliation in the Holy Land. St. George Melkite Greek Catholic Cathedral in Summa, Amman celebrated the ordination of 4 new deacons, Demetrius Haddad, George Thabit, Ignatius Rizqallah, and Michael Samawi. The celebration included the Divine Liturgy presided over by Metropolitan George Haddad, representing His Beatitude Patriarch Joseph Absi, Patriarch of Antioch and all the East of the Melkite Greek Catholics. Archimandrite Paul Nuzha, Patriarchal Administrator for the Greek Catholics, and a number of priests also participated in the liturgy. Present were the Apostolic Nuncio, Archbishop Giovanni Del Tazo, Bishop Iyad Atwal, Latin Patriarchal Vicar in Jordan, along with many officials, families of the newly ordained deacons, and their friends. At the conclusion of the liturgy, the Greek Catholic Scouts Music Band performed national and traditional pieces for the occasion, which, after, attendees came forward to bless and congratulate the new deacons.
الشماس الرسائلي الإيبوذياكونوس جوارجيوس الكلي الورع للدرجة الشماسية الإنجيلية فلنطلبن إذن من أجله لكي تحل عليه نعمة الروح الكلي قدسه. كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون كيريا ليسون. النعمة الإلهية التي في كل حين للمرضى تشفي وللناقصين تكمل هي تنتدب الشماس الرسائلي الإيبودياكونوس إغناطيوس الكلي الورع للدرجة الشماسية الإنجيلية فلنطلبن إذن من أجله لكي تحل عليه نعمة الروح الكلي قدسه. Axios, 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 Axios.
His Grace Bishop Christophorus, Metropolitan of Jordan for the Greek Orthodox, presided over the Divine Liturgy at St. Nicholas Church in Marka on the occasion of the inauguration of the newly built St. Barbara Hall, established through the donations of the faithful parishioners. At the end of the service, His Grace spoke about the importance of angels and archangels in our lives and how God appoints for each of us at baptism a guardian angel to accompany us through life and carry our souls to salvation. For his part, Father Sophronius, parish priest, thanked Bishop Christophorus for his presence and constant support. He also expressed gratitude to economist Isa Ayash, who served and built the church stone by stone, as well as to the parish committees and ladies. After the inauguration, everyone gathered in the parish hall for a fellowship meal prepared by Ladies Committee. His Grace also announced to the parish that Father Isaac Atallah will be serving in the same church in Marka during this period. A number of priests and deacons assisted His Grace in the service in the presence of Father Imad Atwal and a large gathering of parishioners. At the Cathedral of the Annunciation in Abdali, the Anchored on the Rock of the Lord program for engaged couples concluded in the Hall of Saints Constantine and Helena in collaboration with the Christian Family House and under the supervision of economist Irenaeus Mdanat, head of the marriage office. In the closing ceremony, Father Mdanat spoke about the importance of the engagement period before marriage, about the sacrament of Christian marriage, and the significance of the Christian family in the church. Dr. Maher Zabane, Senior Consultant in Urology, Andrology, Infertility and Sexual Health, and Dr. Mariam Ghnaim, Consultant in Gynecology, Obstetrics and Infertility, gave a lecture on the physical relationship in marriage. Several other lectures were also delivered, attended by around 20 engaged couples. At the end, certificates and icons were distributed to the participants. A spiritual gathering was also held for the families of the engaged couples with fruitful dialogue between parents and lecturers. At the Pastoral Family Center of the Latin Patriarchate in Haifa, a spiritual retreat for couples was held under the theme Renewing Faith in the Sacrament of Our Marriage. 11 couples from Haifa, Nazareth, and Upper Galilee took part in the retreat, led by several priests and experts in family matters. The program opened with an introduction meeting, followed by a series of personal exercise for the couple. The sessions focus on the divine nature of the sacrament of holy matrimony as a covenant founded on free love, being at once a human contact between two persons. The retreat concluded with a joint prayer for the blessing of couples and families, asking God to fill their lives with love and grace and to strengthen their bond in the sacred Convent. His Beatitude Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzabella, Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, presided over the graduation ceremony of the 11th class of students at the American University of Madaba. In his address, His Beatitude affirmed that the university and the institutions of the Latin Patriarchate are a bridge of love and fraternity, uniting different cultures and nationalities. He praised Jordan under the leadership of His Majesty King Abdullah II for supporting education and for its diplomacy in working for peace. He also reflected on the suffering of Gaza, which he recently visited, noting that its children have been deprived of education because of war and destruction. He lifted prayers for the return of life, schools, and universities there. Addressing the graduates, Cardinal Pizzabella said, "You are the generation of hope and jubilee. You are the future of Jordan and humanity." He concluded by affirming that the university will remain a beacon of learning and dialogue and a place overflowing with fraternity and hope. Students from the Rosary Sister Schools in Jabal Amman took part in the National Mental Arithmetic Competition held under the patronage of Her Royal Highness Princess Sumaya bint Al-Hassan in the presence of the school principal, Sister Mary Qandah. The competition included a series of mental challenges that highlighted the students' skills in arithmetic in an atmosphere filled with enthusiasm and constructive competition. At the conclusion of the event, Princess Sumaya, together with Mr. Mu'taz Azzar, the program director, honored the winning students in recognition of their achievements. Sister Mary Qandah also took part in presenting awards to the distinguished participants, while the program director presented a shield of appreciation to the school for its efforts in supporting and developing students' abilities. The Spirit of the Word Academy for Leadership and Development held a workshop titled Women. Trainer Farah Samawi addressed the theme of women and society. Dr. Riyad al-Subh lectured on women and education, while Father Dr. Ibrahim Nafa spoke about women in the Holy Scriptures. The workshop aimed to explore the roles of women in the history of salvation from the Old Testaments to New Testaments, in addition to instilling social and human values through education, guidance, and the shaping of moral behavior and ethics among our children. Continuing its support for the educational journey in underprivileged areas, the Bible Society in Jordan is distributing stationery packages as part of its campaign launched at the beginning of the current academic year. This week, the campaign reached Rasas, where 3,700 packages were distributed to school students in remote areas. The Secretary General of the Bible Society, Mundir Naimat, affirmed that the Society will continue the campaign to reach the largest possible number of students across the kingdom, believing that every student has the right to start the school filled with enthusiasm and confidence. He added that this giving extends the values of love, belonging, and loyalty, and strengthens in students a love for their homeland, in the belief that building the human person is the foundation of building nations. Minister of Youth Dr. Ra'ad Al-Adwan extended congratulations to the Fahis Youth Club on the occasion of its women's basketball team being crowned champions of Arab Club's Women's Basketball Championship, hosted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He praised the historic achievement of the team, which reflected the progress and excellence of Jordanian women's basketball. Al-Adwan stressed that this victory placed Jordan on the Arab and international sports map and adds to the honorable record of national achievements. The Fahis Youth Club women's team was also crowned for the second time as champions of the Arab Club's Women's Basketball Championship after defeating the Algerian team in the final match held at Prince Mohammed bin Al Abdulaziz Sports Hall in Medina, Saudi Arabia. And with that, dear viewers, we have reached the end of our broadcast. Before we conclude, here's a reminder of the main highlights. Pope Leon, there is no future built on violence, forced displacement, and revenge. His Majesty the King at the United Nations, we face a clear choice, either war or peace. Cardinal Pizzabella, I sense a feeling of frustration regarding the current situation in Gaza and the Holy Land. The Minister of Youth congratulates the Fahis women's team for winning the Arab Club's basketball championship. For more information, please visit our website, noursatjo.org. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a pleasant time. And until we meet again.